Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss Season 4 of the CW's Riverdale. This is based on the Archie comics. We recently just discussed Season 3. I banged out Season 4 really quick. This is a much shorter season than past seasons. Most Riverdale seasons are 22 episodes long. This was a 19-episode season. This season was weird. I didn't like it that much. Correction, I liked the first 16 episodes. 17, 18, and 19 were just fluff for a weird reason. So the very first few episodes, we have the aftermath of the farm being taken care of. Alice Cooper literally shoots Chad Michael Murray's Edgar Evernever, kills him. Evelyn Evernever gets sent to a prison where she's still tormenting Polly. She's still tormenting Betty. Polly winds up in a psych ward, which name I don't remember. But Alice, Betty now live in the Joneses' house, which used to be the Cooper house anyway. So Betty still technically has her room. So it's F.P. Jones II, Forsyth, as in Jughead, who's the third, Jellybean, Alice, and Betty. So they're all in the house. Okay. While this is happening, a couple different things. Now, you know Riverdale. There's 6 plots going on, but this only had like 3 plots going on. So the wrap-up of the farm was pretty quick. You had Cheryl and Tony being haunted by what was possibly a triplet, and she and Cheryl had her taxidermied brother Jason in the family chapel, in the basement chapel of Thornhill. So that was interesting, and it turns out that it was Penelope Blossom, her mother, the entire time causing the hauntings. So that was a nice little wrap-up. They made amends with the mom. They kind of had her just, work the Maple Club, which turned into a maple rum distribution that Veronica and Cheryl partnered up on. Hiram Lodge just came out with information that he's suffering from a nerve, like a muscle nerve disorder or something, but is he actually suffering from a disease? Is he actually dying? Is he just lying? I don't know. Veronica's half-sister, Hermosa, is introduced into this. She's pretty interesting. The series starts out, the very first episode starts out with Fred Andrews dying in a car accident, and everyone processing the death. Archie trying to figure out how he can be like his dad. What was the point of his dad dying on the side of the road helping a stranded motorist when, the gang has, faced death numerous times, and what was the point? Things like that. Molly Ringwald is his mom. She came back into the picture for a long time. Fred's brother Frank was introduced for a couple episodes, so that was interesting. Let's see, Kevin and Fangs kind of got back together at the end. That was pretty neat. But while all this is happening, so that's kind of that little things. There's videotapes being sent to different residents of Riverdale of just 6 to 8 hours of just the houses. Why? And we still don't know why. No idea why. There's a brand new principal. His name is Mr. Honey, so there's a takedown at the very, very end. The episode 19 is called Killing Mr. Honey, but it's kind of a Jughead story aspect. The big plot points was Jughead was invited to study at Stonewall Prep, which is a prep school for the one percenters, the WASPs as they're called, or Stonies as they're called. Just a train right away. They keep mentioning it's just a train right away. Turns out Jughead's grandfather went there, but then there was this whole murder mystery, and then they actually tried to kill Jughead. So the very end of season 3, we see Veronica, Betty, and Archie burning Jughead's beanie covered in blood, saying we never speak of this again. And it was fast forward to spring break. So this kept showing different future episodes kind of a thing of Jughead being murdered and then trying to cover things up and things like that. So they eventually caught up, and then they explained that he was faking his death and why he was faking his death, and basically solving 8 murderers that were unsolved all these years, making it look like accidents, all because of a Baxter's Brothers novel fiasco. So that was pretty neat. The back and forth of the prep kids versus the public school kids. This was a very simplified season compared to past seasons. The first season was definitely all about Jason Blossom's death and side stories of that. Second season was definitely about the Black Hood and the serial killer aspects of Betty and family, plus the farm. Third season was all about the farm, all about the Gargoyle King, Griffins and Gargoyles. I really like the third season the most if I'm comparing apples to oranges. I got to rewatch the first season, to be honest. It was very far back in advance, which is also neat because the fourth season brought back the Betty and Archie love story to here, but then it kind of fizzled anyway. Josie was in the first episode of season 4, just, to say farewell to Fred Andrews. Luke Perry, rest in peace. That's why they had to write him off the show, because Luke Perry did actually pass away in real life, as tragic as that was. And then so then in episode 16 of season 4, which is what we're discussing, that's when Jughead and Betty face the kids of Stonewall Prep and one of the professors and say, this is the murders that you attempted and did and all these things. And then that was the wrap up, like we had no idea what was going on with the videotapes. While all this is going on, Charles, who is Betty's half-brother and Jughead's half-brother, because Alice and FP had a love child, Charles Smith, who is an FBI agent. We learned this at the end of last season, right? He is a focal point in this season. He's trying to investigate the tapes, but he's also still in love with Chick, who's in a prison. But they didn't really touch on that. Like, there was just one scene between them, and that's it. So you're like, oh, maybe Charles is a bad guy. But the whole season, he was just like the good guy helping. I don't know. So then episode 17, right? 16 was the wrap-up. 17 was a variety show of all songs from Hedwig and the Angry Inch for Riverdale High, which was just weird and out of place because we just finished the season, basically, in episode 16. Why is there still three episodes left, right? You're cutting the episodes. Instead of your average 22, you're doing now 19. But your story ends at episode 16. So then 17 was about, trying to get back at Mr. Honey, the principal, who's just being a dick to all of the Riverdale High kids. Hedwig and the Angry Inch is a big focal point of that. I liked their Carrie episode. I liked their Heather's episode. But I didn't like this Hedwig and the Angry Inch episode. I thought it was very weird. And it got like a 3.2 or something like that on IMDb out of 10. I think it's the worst rated Riverdale episode. I can understand. It made absolutely no sense. There's literally no point to it. Absolutely no point to it. 18 was just more videotape stuff and just prom stuff. And 19 is just Jughead making a new story called Killing Mr. Honey because he took away the prom. So it's a metaphorical killing of the principal, who then eventually becomes the headmaster of Stonewall Prep because Jughead is was accepted into the University of Iowa, so he needs to write a new story, something like that. I just didn't see the point, because then at the very end, the last scene we see is Betty and Jughead watching another videotape of all of the gang killing a fake Mr. Honey as a snuff film based off of the story that he wrote. But why? What's the point? If who made the announcement? Was it Greg Berlanti? I love Greg Berlanti. I do. He's an executive producer on the show. This story should have ended at episode 16. There is no reason why 17, 18, and 19 happened. Absolutely no reason. Especially because it was announced that there was going to be a big time jump at the beginning of season 5. If there's going to be a big time jump, and again, this is speculation and rumor, I have nothing to base this off of, this is just conjecture. My hypothesis is that season 5 is going to start with them graduating college. And then they're going to come back to Riverdale for some reason. Possibly another death, right? And then they're going to say, oh, remember that time we found all those videotapes? Yeah, let's revisit that. But the momentum of the story is gone. And I don't know why. Was it because this season was very relaxed, very laid back compared to past seasons? And I don't know why. I'm very curious why. Is it because Luke Perry died and that tone just shifted the entire season? Possibly. But it's still weird. It's still weird. It's normal for death and murder and mystery and things of that nature in Riverdale, but I don't know. I just thought it was a weird wrap-up. As far as I'm concerned with the story, season 4 ended at episode 16, when Jughead and Betty revealed all of the findings that they found, and then that professor jumped out the window because he had honor and he killed himself. I think that was, yeah, and the Hedwig and the Angry Inch episode was just strange. It was strange, man. Very strange. Of course, all the actors and actresses did a fantastic job. I mean, it was great. They all do great, but I don't know what happened in those last 3 episodes, man. I want someone to give me your feedback. What did you take from those last 3 episodes when the storyline wrapped up in that room at Stonewall Prep with Betty and Jughead sharing their findings to everyone? What was the point of 17, 18, and 19 when episode 16 was the final wrap-up? I don't get it. I'm good with seeing these things. You should have wrapped up the videotape story, and you should have explained why Chick and Charles are still a thing if it was mentioned for half a second. Because you gave an inclination of backstabbing, but nothing happened. And Chick is obviously not the videotaper, right? Because he's clearly in jail. And it can't be Charles. Well, it could be Charles, but why would Charles do that? And if Charles is the one doing that, why wasn't it referenced in episode 19? I don't get it. And then who are the actors who are actually killing people? Because that's like, what, 3, 4 murders that need to be solved? Too many questions. Too many questions. Riverdale normally wraps up really well. Season 1 ended great with the wrap-up of, who killed Jason Blossom, the boy in the river. Season 2 wrapped up really great with Hal being the main hood, Black Hood. Season 3 ended great with the Gargoyle King reveal of Chick and the Black Hood coming about, and the Gargoyle King is actually Penelope Wilson this whole time. That was great. Nice twists and turns. This, season 4, just 8 murders solved from Stonewall Prep that had nothing to do with the Riverdale kids until Jughead actually went there and found out his grandfather was involved. That's out of bounds. That's not a personal story. That's an out of bounds. So that's a reach. So I don't know. I don't know what my expectations for season 5 is going to be. And I feel bad saying that because this is a great show. What happened? I need answers. I want some answers. If anyone has some theories, please share with me because I am confused. And that is all. Mucho mahalo.